How's it going, YouTube? Welcome back to your favorite aviation channel, and today we're finally bringing to you a brand new Karachi airport update, this being number 57. Of course, it's been a while since the last one. The airport's pretty much the same as it's always been. One of the main reasons why these Karachi updates have been so inconsistent lately is because there really has not been much to talk about in recent history. But it has been a couple of months already, and in the past few months there have been some cool developments that we will talk about in today's video, so let's get right into it. So of course we're going to start off at the domestic terminal with the first aircraft being this Air Arabia A320 operating as Fly Jinnah, of course, making service out to Quetta. Fly Jinnah's been doing quite well operationally, or so I've heard recently, and they've also added 2 more planes to their fleet for a total now of 5 aircraft, of course all A320s. The 2 new planes are registered APBOV and APBOZ, and they were delivered back in January, so they've been in the fleet for a while now, but of course this is the first time that I'm talking about it. They're not actually brand new planes. In fact, they're both, I think, 13 years old. But as you might know, Fly Jinnah is part of the Air Arabia group, and these planes were both transferred over from Air Arabia itself, which is pretty cool to see. Next up is a PIA 777-200ER that's just arrived on a domestic flight from Islamabad. As I've mentioned before, seeing a PIA 777 flying domestically nowadays, it's pretty rare because it's basically all A320s on the domestic flights out of Karachi. It used to be a regular thing a couple of years back. There'd be at least 2 domestic 777s a day going to both Islamabad and Lahore, at least 1 a day for sure. But that's not the case anymore, unfortunately. And another fun fact, this is the last active 777 currently wearing the old stripes livery, APBGK. Every other active 777 has been repainted. It's worth mentioning that there are actually 3 777s still wearing this livery, 3 other ones, but they are currently grounded in Karachi and nobody knows when they're going to fly again. Of course, I'm talking about APBHW and APBID, both of them 777-300ERs, and then of course APBGL, another 777-200ER. They've been grounded for a very long time. Nobody knows what's going to happen with them. I doubt they'll get airborne anytime soon, unfortunately. Alright, so I know this looks really weird, but just hear me out. So here at gate 14 is the Qatar Airways Cargo 777 freighter, here from Doha as flight 8680, and we'll head back out to Doha as flight 8681. So I mentioned in the last update that most of the cargo flights have now been parking at the passenger terminals, and there's actually a pretty good reason for this that I didn't know until a couple days ago. Special thanks to my friend Shaji for giving me this information. I'm going to link his media outlets and his Jet Photos account below, but the gates at the passenger terminal, they have underground fuel tanks, so refueling the planes is much easier this way, more so than parking the cargo flights at the remote bays and then having the big fuel tanker trucks driving to and from. So explaining this out loud seems really silly, but I mean, then again, Karachi isn't a very busy airport, and so there's a lot of empty gates. You might as well just park the planes here if it's easier to service them. So that's what they're doing. And matter of fact, this exact flight parked at this same gate a few days ago, so pretty great timing to be able to replicate this. Lastly, at the domestic terminal, gate 13 is this PIA A320 in the retro livery that's going to be making service out to Skardu in the northern areas as flight 455. Unfortunately, this particular plane, APBLA, it's once again out of service. I don't know if it's like permanent storage or if it's undergoing a heavy C check, but fact of the matter is none of the retro liveries are currently flying right now. Both A320s are offline, and then APBMG, the retro 777, is currently getting maintenance work. They're saying it'll be back flying within the next few months, but we will see if that actually happens. Shifting over to the international satellite, we've got the debut of Batik Air in the Karachi updates. The 737 MAX 8 is pushing back for its return to Kuala Lumpur as flight 136. Batik started a few months ago with thrice weekly service on the MAX 8 and 737-800. Really happy to see them here now. It's a new airline for Karachi. It's their first time flying to Karachi. They previously served Lahore pre-pandemic through Malindo Air, but Malindo Air was reincorporated back into Batik Air a couple months back, so they are resumed into Lahore now, but they also launched Karachi a couple months back, which is really great. Hopefully now with Batik Air doing Kuala Lumpur service, maybe we'll see Malaysia Airlines come back soon with the 737 or A330, but time will tell. That'd be really cool to see Malaysia back, but not too sure if that's going to happen. At gate 23, the Saudia A330-300 in-between flights to and from Riyadh. Saudia currently has 1 daily flight to Riyadh on the A330, and then 2 daily to Jeddah, 1 on the A330, and then the other one on the 777-300ER. At gate 24 is the Sri Lankan Airlines A330-200 wearing the One World livery. This plane arrived from Colombo as flight 151. It'll head back out to Colombo as flight 152. So right now, I think Sri Lankan is serving Karachi thrice per week, twice with this flight, the A330, and then once a week with the A320, which right now is being operated by the Fitz Air A320. Ironically enough, Fitz Air is a completely different airline in Sri Lanka, but I'm assuming it's been wet leased out to Sri Lankan, and so they're flying this one for that flight nowadays. At gate 25 is the Qatar Airways 777-300ER in the Formula 1 livery. Came in as flight 610. They'll go back out to Doha as flight 611. I think it's the first time I'm showing this particular plane in the Karachi updates, and pretty perfect as well because this is Alpha 7 Bravo Echo Lima A7BEL, the same 777 that I flew to Karachi 2 years ago, of course before it got the Formula 1 colors livery. Last but not least, at gate 26 is Thai Airways flight 341 arriving from Bangkok with the Boeing 787-8. It'll have about 2 hours on the ground before operating flight 342 back out to Bangkok. So Thai currently flies the A330-300 to Karachi, which is a massive L for me because I sold my Thai A330 last year thinking that they were all getting retired, which most of them were retired eventually, but turns out Thai ended up keeping 3 of them for whatever reason, and they're actually adding 2 more that will be coming in from Virgin Atlantic, joining the Thai fleet soon. But the plan right now is Thai is going to be flying the A330-300 to Karachi through June, and then it'll switch to the 787-8 until December, apparently. That's what their website says. And then the rest of December will be on the 787-9 as of now. So I'm not too sure who to trust right now because Flight Radar 24 says that the 350 is coming back in early May. And so in the past month itself has been a mix of A330, 350, 787, and 777. So things could change. But either way, I'm just happy that Thai Airways is consistently doing well, not just in Karachi, but the rest of Pakistan as well. All right, so more news regarding Karachi. Just a few days before recording this, Azerbaijan Airlines finally launched new service from Baku. They originally anticipated that service would start in September 2023. That, of course, didn't happen. Finally, it started back on April 18th. I believe it's twice weekly with the A319 and A320. Azerbaijan started service to Islamabad and Lahore back in fall of 2023, and they were saying that they were going to add Karachi at some point, but it took them until April now to add it. So better late than never, honestly. I'm really happy that Azerbaijan is here. I believe it's their first time in Karachi. I could be wrong. They might have flown here in the past, so I'm assuming that was the case. But in any case, they are here in Karachi twice per week. Really good to see that. Aside from that, there's not much else to cover regarding airline news in Karachi. I will say that there have been a lot of new services in recent years that I didn't realize how many airlines I'm missing now. The main reason is that they all fly narrow-body jets, and models of these are really hard to come by or they don't exist. So those airlines are Ethiopian, Sham Wings, Flynas, Iraqi Airways, Jazeera, Pegasus, Salam Air, and of course now Azerbaijan Airlines. Iraqi Airways actually flew their new 787 to Karachi a few months back. That was really cool to see, but of course they're back to 737s and A321s, A320s now. Regarding future plans of this airport, I think we can all agree it's well overdue for an overhaul. I mean, this mat is over 8 years old now, and not much has changed on it aside from some minor enhancements every now and then. So similar to what I did with my O'Hare Terminal 5 setup, I plan this summer to completely redo the entire airport since I think it's high time now. As for Lahore updates, I got some questions about that. I decided to suspend it indefinitely since I didn't really see much point in continuing with it. I may do a video every now and then, but Karachi and Chicago O'Hare are the main airports we'll be keeping here. Aside from that, we've reached the end of this video, so thank you all very much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. If I missed anything, please be sure to let me know, but until next time, take care and see you soon.